It was a quiet night in the small village of Greystone. The sky was dark, the stars were bright, and the air was cold. Most people were inside their homes, sleeping. Nothing strange ever happened in this place, but that night, something changed. Loud sound came from the sky. It was like thunder, but it didn't stop. A bright light shot across the sky, fast, burning, and strange. Then, a huge crash shook the forest just outside the village. Birds flew away. Dogs barked. Lights turned on in houses. What was that? People asked. Some said it was a plane. Others said it was a meteor, but no one was sure. No one was brave enough to go into the forest at night. The next morning, a few villagers went to see. What they found was not a plane. It was not a meteor. It was something they had never seen before. Pieces of metal were scattered on the ground. Some were still warm. Trees were broken. The air smelled like burning. Wires and in the middle of it all was a girl. She looked about 10 years old. Her skin was pale blue. Her hair was white and soft like snow. Her eyes were big, shining like stars. She wore strange clothes, not from Earth. Around her neck, she had a glowing crystal. She was hurt. Her leg was bleeding. But she was alive. Villagers were afraid. She's not human, one man said. Call the army, said another. She's just a child, a woman whispered. Before the crowd could decide what to do, an old woman stepped forward. Her name was Mara. She had lived in the village for many years. She was kind but quiet. People said she had no family. She looked at the girl with soft eyes. She's scared, Mara said. I'll take care of her. No, Mara, one man warned. She's dangerous. Mara shook her head. She's a child, and she's hurt. We help children. Without waiting, Mara lifted the girl in her arms and walked away. Mara lived alone in a small cottage near the edge of the village. She laid the girl on a warm bed, cleaned her wounds, and gave her soup. The girl didn't speak. She only stared at the glowing crystal on her neck. That night, the girl had strange dreams. She saw a spaceship flying through the stars. She saw people with glowing eyes. She saw fire, screaming, and running. Then, she saw a man's face, kind, gentle, and worried. She opened her eyes. Her face was wet with tears. Mara was sitting nearby, watching her. You're safe now, Mara said softly. The girl looked at her. Slowly she opened her mouth to speak. Double quotes. Father. She whispered. Mara's eyes widened. Your father? The girl nodded, touching the crystal. Is he here? Mara asked. I don't know, the girl said, her voice small and shaking. Mara held her hand. We'll find out, child. But first, you must rest. Over the next few days, the girl started to speak more. She told Mara her name was Nara. She didn't know where she was. She didn't know what planet this was. She only remembered running. And fire. And her father telling her to be brave. Nara learned English quickly, faster than normal children. She fixed broken things in Mara's house without help. She touched Mara's old radio, and it started working again. Mara knew this girl was not from Earth, but she didn't tell anyone. The villagers asked questions, but Mara said Nara was her niece. Most didn't believe her, but no one argued. They were afraid of what they didn't understand. At night, the crystal around Nara's neck would glow softly. It gave off a warm, pulsing light. Sometimes it made small sounds, like a heartbeat or a distant voice. Mara tried to understand it. She opened her old books. She turned on her dusty computer. But nothing explained the crystal. One night while Nara was asleep, the crystal began to glow brighter. It floated just a little above her chest. Then, it sent out a soft beam of light. A signal, somewhere far away, high in the sky. Something woke up. Far above the Earth, floating in space, a small ship was silent. Then, lights turned on. A machine beeped. A screen blinked. A voice spoke in a strange language. Signal received. Target located. Back in the cottage, Nara sat up quickly. Her eyes were wide. Her heart was racing. Mara rushed in. Are you okay? Nara looked at her dot, and then she said again, louder this time. He's here ... My father is here. Asterisk. The dream came again. But this time, it was louder. Nara stood in the middle of a metal room. Lights flickered. Sirens screamed. Fire burst from the walls. A man, tall, calm, strong, held her hand. Run! He shouted. She tried to speak, but no sound came from her mouth. The man knelt, holding her face gently. His glowing blue eyes looked into hers. Nara, he said, you must find me. Then everything turned to black. She woke up screaming. Mara rushed into the room with a candle. Nara, what is it? A nightmare. Nara was sweating. Her crystal was glowing bright red, hotter than before. It pulsed like a heartbeat. The air in the room felt heavy, almost electric. Mara touched Nara's shoulder. You're shaking. Nara looked down. It's him again. The man in my dreams. I think he's my father. Mara sat beside her. What does he say? Nara held the crystal tightly. He says I must find him. Outside, the wind blew hard against the old cottage. A storm was coming that evening. Mara decided to try something. She took out her old radio, a dusty, broken thing from her younger days. It hadn't worked in years. Nara watched curiously. What is that? She asked. It was used to listen to voices from the air, news, songs, sometimes signals. Mara said. Nara tilted her head. Signals? Yes, Mara replied. Maybe your crystal is trying to talk. Mara placed the crystal beside the radio and turned the knobs. At first, there was only static. But then, a soft clicking noise. Then a strange tone. Then, a voice. Faint, far, and broken. But real. Nara's eyes widened. That's my language. Suddenly, the crystal glowed bright again. The radio sparked and made a loud noise. A pattern of lights danced across its surface. On a nearby notebook, strange symbols began to burn themselves into the paper, glowing for a second, before fading. Nara picked up the notebook. It's a location, she said quietly. Mara looked at the marks. How do you know? I don't know how. I just do, Nara replied. The storm outside grew louder. Lightning flashed across the sky, from deep within the forest. Something answered. Far away, hidden under trees and dirt. A small black device blinked to life. It had been sleeping for years. Now it was awake. It sent a signal into the sky. Silent pulse. Above Earth, a ship moved. And inside that ship, a man opened his glowing blue eyes. He looked at the screen flashing in front of him. Target found. Back in the village, strange things began to happen. Birds flew in circles. Dogs howled. The air felt different, heavier. The villagers felt nervous but didn't know why. Mara stayed inside with Nara. She taught her how to read books, how to write simple words, how to cook potatoes. Nara learned fast, faster than any child Mara had ever known. But something was changing. Nara's dreams were stronger. Her body felt different. Her skin glowed faintly in the dark. One night, she asked Mara, "Do you think I'm dangerous?" Mara looked at her kindly. "You are special, but not dangerous." Nara smiled a little. "Thank you for keeping me." Mara touched her cheek. "You're not a guest anymore, Nara. You are my family now." That same night, while Mara slept, Nara walked outside. The wind was soft now. The stars were clear. She looked up. The crystal around her neck began to spin slowly. Then it floated into the air. A small light beam shot into the sky, so thin, no human eye could see it. But someone did. High above Earth, the man in the ship smiled. He pressed a button on his suit. "I'm coming," he whispered. "She's not alone anymore." The next morning, a stranger arrived in the village. Tall, calm, wearing dark clothes and sunglasses. Even though the sun was hidden behind clouds, he asked quiet questions to the villagers. Any news about the crash? Have you seen a strange girl? Anyone new in the village? Most people shook their heads, but one man said, "Ask Mara, she's been hiding someone." The stranger's lips curled into a cold smile. "Thank you," he said. He walked toward Mara's cottage, slow, silent. Watching. Inside, Nara looked up from her notebook. Her crystal glowed again, but now with a new color, deep purple. Her eyes widened. "He's here," she whispered. Mara looked confused. "Who?" Nara stood. Slowly, "I don't know," she said, "but he's looking for me." Cold boots, silent steps. Eyes that never blinked. He walked into the village just after sunrise. Fog still covered the roads like a sleeping ghost. Birds had not yet begun to sing. It was the kind of morning where time felt slow, almost frozen. Man wore a long black coat. His boots made no sound on the gravel. Dark glasses hid his eyes. His face looked smooth, like someone who hadn't aged in years. No one noticed him at first. But as he walked past the bakery, the butcher's shop, and the empty playground, people began to stare. They didn't know why. He didn't speak. He didn't smile. He just walked, like he already knew where to go. Old Mr. Rell stood outside his store, watching the man. "You lost, stranger?" he asked. The man stopped, turned, said nothing for a moment. Then, in a low, calm voice, "I'm looking for someone." "A girl. What kind of girl?" Mr. Rell asked. The stranger smiled, just barely. "One who doesn't belong." Mara was picking herbs near her cottage when Nara came running outside, breathless. "Mara," she said. "He's here." "Who?" Mara asked. "I don't know, but I felt it again. Like a cold wave in my head." Mara stood still. She looked down the path toward the village, and then she saw him. The man stopped at the edge of Mara's garden. He didn't walk forward. He didn't speak. He simply stared. Mara stepped in front of Nara. "Can I help you?" she asked, steady. "I believe you can," the man said. "I'm looking for someone who survived the crash." Mara didn't move. "No one came here." "I think someone did," the man replied. "A child. Pale skin, silver hair. Carries a crystal." Mara's jaw tightened. Nara hid behind the cottage wall. The crystal on her neck was glowing again, this time a bright, electric blue dot. It had never glowed like that before. The man took off his sunglasses slowly. His eyes glowed, just like Nara's from behind the wall. Nara gasped. Mara saw it too. The same light, the same glow. Cold, bright, alien. "You're not from here," Mara said quietly. "No," the man replied. "Then why are you looking for her?" The man stepped closer. "Because if I don't find her first," he said, "someone much worse will." Later that night, Nara sat by the fire. Mara poured her tea with shaking hands. "I've seen eyes like his before," Nara whispered. "In your dreams?" Mara asked. Nara nodded. "But they were kind. His are not." Mara looked outside. "He said others are coming." "Yes," Nara said. "And they're not here to help." The crystal pulsed. "Faster now." Almost like it was warning them. Mara stood up. "We need to move." "Where?" Nara asked. Mara stared into the dark woods. "Someplace they won't find us." Far above Earth, another ship entered orbit. It was larger, louder, and not alone. 3 more followed behind it like sharks. Inside the lead ship, a tall figure looked at a glowing screen. "A map of Earth, a blinking dot. She's awake," he said. "And she has the crystal." A soldier beside him asked, "Should we land?" The tall figure smiled. "Not kindly, no. Let our hunter bring her to us." Back on Earth, the man with the glowing eyes stood alone under a tree. He pressed a small button on the inside of his glove. A soft beep answered. "Target is near," he said. "I can feel the crystal signal." A voice replied in his ear, "You are not to harm the girl." "I understand," he said, but his smile told a different story. That night, Nara had another dream. This time, the dream was different. She was running through the woods. Something chased her, tall, fast, hungry. She turned around and saw herself. Same face, same voice, but colder. "I'm not the only Nara," the dream Nara said. "They made others. Copies." Nara screamed and woke up. Mara was by her side. "You were talking in your sleep," Mara whispered. Nara looked at her. "There's more," she said. "More like me. But they're not like me inside." The crystal glowed bright again. And this time, it spoke. Not words, but a sound. A warning. Something was coming. Outside, in the dark woods, lights began to flicker. Not human lights. The memory didn't come like a dream. It came like a storm. Flashes, sounds, feelings. Nara stood in the middle of the room, not breathing, not blinking. The crystal around her neck had turned completely white, glowing so brightly it lit up the cottage like sunlight. Mara stepped back, her eyes wide. "Nara, what's happening?" But Nara didn't hear her. She was somewhere else now. She stood in a round room made of glass and stars. Space stretched around her, endless and black. Lights blinked on the curved walls. Screens showed planets. Symbols danced in the air. She looked down. She was younger. Smaller. A baby? No, not a baby. But very young. A man stood before her. He wore a long dark coat. His skin was silver blue. His eyes glowed bright, full of worry but also love. "Nara," he said, kneeling down. "You must be brave now." Behind him, loud alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Something shook the room, like a ship hit by thunder. "Take this," he said, placing the glowing crystal around her neck. "This will protect you. It will guide you." A door opened. A bright beam pulled her away. She screamed, "I will find you." The man shouted. Then, darkness. Nara gasped and fell to her knees. The crystal flickered, then dimmed. Mara ran to her side. "What did you see?" Nara looked at her with tears in her eyes. "My father," she whispered. "He sent me away. To save me." Outside the cottage, the wind had changed. It wasn't just air anymore. It carried whispers, faint, electronic, almost like radio noise. Trees bent without moving. The sky looked heavy. Mara noticed it first. "Something's wrong." Nara stood. Her face was pale, but her eyes were sharp now. "He's not the only one who remembers me," she said. "They're close." Meanwhile, deep in the forest, the stranger stood in front of a large stone. He touched it gently, and a panel opened beneath the moss. Inside was a glowing cube, ancient, alien, humming with power. He placed his hand on it. Images flashed in front of his eyes. Nara, the crash. The man with the coat. The war. "She activated the memory crystal," he whispered. "She knows who she is." Behind him, shadows moved, quiet, fast. A voice spoke in the darkness. Robotic, cold. "Is she ready?" The stranger turned slowly. "She's remembering faster than we planned. We need to move soon," the voice replied. "And if she refuses?" The man smiled without warmth. "Then we take her anyway." Back at the cottage, Nara opened Mara's old books and began drawing, fast, like her hands already knew what to do. She sketched symbols, maps, a face. Her father's face. "This place," she pointed, "is not safe anymore." Mara nodded. "Where do we go?" Nara closed her eyes. "The place he showed me. It's underground, hidden, he called it." The gate. Suddenly, all the lights in the house flickered. The fireplace died. The radio turned on by itself, crackling with static, then a voice. "We are coming." Mara grabbed Nara's hand. "Now we run." They escaped through the back path, running through thick woods. Nara didn't need light. Her eyes glowed just enough to guide them. Behind them, the sound of something flying, not a ship, but a drone, buzzing low, hunting. Faster. Mara shouted. They jumped over logs, slid down a hill, and reached an old abandoned tunnel. Left from the war long ago. Inside it was dark, but safe. For now. Mara was breathing hard. We can't keep running forever. Nara looked at her. Her voice was calm now. I'm not running anymore. Later, sitting in the tunnel, Nara held the crystal in her palm. She spoke softly. You sent me away, but now I'm back, and I will find you. Suddenly, the crystal lit up again, but this time it didn't just glow. It projected a hologram in the air, a spinning map, a red blinking dot. A location. Mara leaned closer. Is that? Nara nodded. It's him, my real father. He's alive. Far away, in a hidden ship, the tall commander watched the same blinking dot. He turned to his soldiers. She activated the beacon. One soldier asked, Do we capture her now? The commander shook his head slowly. No, he said, we follow her. Because where she goes, the father goes too. It didn't start with a sound. It started with a feeling. The air changed, thicker, colder, like it could hear them. Breathing. Nara looked up from the glowing map in her hands. The red dot still blinked. Her father's location was close. Hidden. But not far. Mara pressed her back against the tunnel wall. We should move. Nara nodded. Now, then. The sound came, a soft whir, followed by metal footsteps. They found us, Nara whispered. Outside the tunnel, 4 black drones flew silently through the trees. They weren't like normal machines. They were alive in some way. One paused in the air, its red eye blinked. Target locked. The forest lit up with blue light. Inside, Nara touched her crystal. It reacted instantly, glowing bright green this time. The air around it shimmered. Mara watched in shock. What is it doing? It's protecting us, Nara said, standing tall. But not for long. Suddenly, part of the wall behind them began to glow too, as if the crystal was unlocking something. A click. A hidden door opened. Nara and Mara ran inside. Behind them, the tunnel shook. The drones had fired. They found themselves in a narrow passage, cold, silent, old. Metal walls lined with lights that hadn't worked in years. This is part of the old Earth base, Mara said. From the last war. Nara looked at her. No, she replied. This is something older, alien. My kind built this. Far above, in the dark ship, the glowing-eyed stranger watched their path through. A screen. She found the passage, he said. Another voice replied. Good, she's leading us to him. Back underground, Nara stopped in front of a large door. On it were the same glowing symbols from her dreams. She placed her hand on the panel. The door opened slowly. Inside was a large, round chamber with a glowing platform in the center. Floating above it was a frozen figure in stasis. His body sleeping, his face peaceful. Mara whispered, Is that him? Nara stepped forward, heart pounding. She knew that face. Same eyes. Same strength. Same warmth from her memories. Father. But before she could touch the platform, the room exploded with light. They had been followed. The stranger stepped out of the shadows. Behind him, soldiers with dark suits and electric weapons. Nara turned to shield Mara. You don't want to do this, she said. The man took off his glasses again. His eyes glowed, cold and focused. I'm not here to hurt you, Nara, he said. I'm here to complete the mission. She stepped back. What mission? The soldiers raised their weapons. To take you home, he said. Or take the crystal. Whichever is easier. Suddenly, the crystal flared, burning white-hot. Room shook. The frozen man, her father, opened. His eyes. Everything stopped. Even the soldiers stared. He looked directly at Nara. I told you I'd find you, he said, his voice deep but soft. Tears filled her eyes. You never stopped looking. No, he said. And now it's time to fight back. He raised his hand. In a flash, the platform cracked open. The crystal flew from Nara's neck, straight into his chest. It sank in. He glowed. Fully alive now, the soldiers opened fire. But the man raised his arm, and a bright shield blocked every shot. The stranger growled. She wasn't ready yet. You moved too soon. The father looked at him. You made her run. Now she remembers everything. He turned to Nara. Are you ready? Nara didn't hesitate. Yes. Then came the escape. Walls broke. Lights flashed. A tunnel opened beneath their feet, leading to an old launch pad, hidden underground. They ran. Mara followed, breathing hard but strong. Where does this lead? The father answered, to my ship. As the room behind them collapsed, the stranger stood still, watching. He touched his ear. Commander, the girl has awakened. And so has her father. A voice replied, then it's time. Bring the fleet, the man smiled. It's war now. Silence filled the ship. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that comes before a storm. Nara sat beside the ship's window, staring at the earth shrinking below. Her father stood at the control panel, his back straight, hands steady, but his eyes heavy with years of secrets. Mara sat nearby, still catching her breath. Her hands trembled slightly. She had never left Earth before. She never planned to, but here she was, in a starship built from another world. And the girl beside her, no longer just an orphan. The ship hummed as it entered orbit, hidden in a cloud of space dust. Her father, now awake, alive, and glowing with quiet power, turned to her. You remember more now, he said. Nara nodded slowly. Yes, I see it clearer each time the crystal reacts. He walked closer and knelt in front of her. There's something you must know, Nara, he said. You weren't just lost. You weren't just hidden. You were created. Her heart skipped a beat. Created? She asked. You are not like the others, he said. You are a fusion, part human, part Eliari. You were made for peace and power. She blinked. What do you mean? Her father stood and walked to the center of the ship. He touched a small panel. The floor lit up, and a hologram appeared, showing stars, planets, and then war. Explosions, ships, fire. An army with dark armor and cold eyes marched across worlds. This, he said, is what we were running from. He pointed to a figure in the center of the hologram, tall, dressed in black, wearing a mask. The commander. He was once my brother, your uncle. Nara's eyes widened. The one chasing me? Her father nodded. He wanted to turn our people into weapons. I refused, so he came after me. After your mother, and after you. Nara stepped forward. Where is she? My mother? He looked away. She died protecting you. Silence again. But this time, it hurt more than before. Mara reached out and held Nara's hand. The girl's fingers were cold, but steady. I wasn't supposed to survive. Nara whispered. No, her father said. You were supposed to end the war. Suddenly, an alarm rang inside the ship. A red light flashed on the panel. Enemy ship approaching. The computer said. Nara looked up. They found us? No, her father said. They followed the signal from the crystal. He rushed to the controls. We have no time. We need to go to the vault. The ship dived into stealth mode and slid toward the dark side of the moon. There, hidden under dust and rocks, was a base. Small, dead-looking, but alive inside. The door opened. Nara stepped out. The ground felt strange. Lighter. The vault door waited ahead. Inside, a cold blue light lit up the walls. Symbols pulsed along the ceiling. A single chair sat in the middle, shaped like a flower. Her father pointed to it. This was built for you. She stepped toward it. The crystal on her chest began to float. It flew toward the center of the room and locked into a glowing sphere. Energy spread. The vault came alive. From the walls, memories began to play, not dreams. Real recordings. Nara saw herself as a baby, held by her parents. She saw her mother smile. She saw the ship being attacked. She saw the exact moment her father placed her in the escape pod. And then she saw something she didn't expect. Another version of herself, older, colder, standing beside her uncle. No. Nara whispered, "What is that?" Her father's voice shook now. "That is one of the clones they made to replace you. To turn your power into a weapon." Nara stared at the face. Same eyes, same skin, but empty inside. "She's here too," her father said. "On Earth, hunting you." Suddenly, the base shook. Boom. Boom. The commander's ship had landed. Her father grabbed her hand. "You must make a choice," he said. "Run again, or face what you are." Nara looked into his eyes. "I'm tired of running," she said. He smiled, not sad, not afraid, just proud. "Then we fight together." Outside, black-armored soldiers lined up in the dust. Their eyes glowed red. And at the center, the clone Nara stepped forward. Same face, but no soul. She smiled. "I've come to take what belongs to me." There were two girls. Same face, same eyes, same voice, but only one had a heart that remembered love. The other was just a empty. They stood across from each other on the dark surface of the moon. No stars above, only cold machines around them. The dust rose with every step. Nara could feel her pulse in her fingers. Her real father stood beside her, his energy rising, calm but strong. Mara watched from inside the base. She couldn't move, couldn't speak. This wasn't just a fight. This was the moment. The clone smiled first. "You've had your time," she said, her voice sharp but hollow. "You ran, you hid. Now give me the crystal." "I don't have it anymore," Nara said calmly. "It's a part of me now." Her father spoke, stepping forward. "You were made from her, but you were never her." The clone raised her hand. A dark sphere of energy formed in her palm. "Then I'll tear it out." Without warning, the attack came, a blast of black light ripped toward them. Nara raised both hands, and a shield of golden energy pulsed out from her body. The blast cracked against it, but didn't break through. The clone growled. "You've learned fast." Nara took a deep breath. "I didn't learn it from a lab. I learned it from a father who never gave up." Suddenly, the battlefield lit up with fire. The commander's soldiers charged forward. But so did Nara's father. He moved like light, fast, precise, glowing with power. He struck the ground, and the earth cracked. Soldiers flew backward like paper. He fought like someone with nothing left to lose, except one thing. His daughter. Nara faced the clone again. "You were made to take my place," she said. "But you'll never understand why I survived." "Because you were lucky," the clone hissed. "No," Nara said, stepping closer. "Because I was loved." She raised her hands, and the crystal inside her chest lit up, not with power, but with memory. All around them, memories projected into the air. Her mother's laugh, the first time Mara braided her hair, the night she cried from fear and found comfort in the human's arms. The clone paused. "What is this?" "This is what makes me different," Nara said. "Not the crystal. The heart." The clone screamed, launching one final attack, a blast of raw, broken energy. But Nara didn't block it. She absorbed it. The power hit her, and instead of pain, there was silence, then light. The crystal on her chest exploded into a wave of energy, washing over the battlefield. Every soldier froze. The clone collapsed to her knees, her energy drained, and Nara stood tall. The fight was over, but one more moment remained. Her father, wounded but alive, walked to her. Dust covered his clothes. A cut ran down his cheek. But his eyes still glowed warm. He placed his hand on her shoulder. You've done it. Nara looked at him, really looked. I only did it because you never stopped believing I could. He smiled. Now you know the truth. Nara tilted her head. What truth? You weren't made to end a war, he said softly. You were made ... to start something better. They turned back toward Mara, who stood at the base door. Tears ran down her face. Nara ran to her, hugged her tight. You're my family too, Nara whispered. Always. Later, as the ship rose from the surface of the moon, Nara sat at the window again. But this time, Earth didn't look like a prison. It looked like home. Her father sat beside her. Mara poured tea and smiled, tired but proud. The stars ahead were quiet. And for the first time, Nara didn't feel lost. She felt ready. Where are we going now? She asked. Her father looked out at the stars. Now, he said, we go home.